How she have a baby with a woman? She a woman. It threw me for a loop. I'm like, what part of the movie was this? These are kids that we have to show that at this age. Like, that part. They're going to ask questions. Yeah. They are going to ask. I don't have the answer.
What the helly? I know y'all not serious. So now, we're supposed to cancel Snoop Dogg for his comments? Not the questionable music, not the questionable videos, nor his behavior. But this is what you want to cancel him about? Why? Because his grandchild used common sense? Oh, but I forgot. Common sense is just not that common anymore. Proceed. I am Dena, and you are now tuned into another discussion with Dena. For God's sake, I have never seen so many folks skirt around this LGBT issue. As an individual, you can choose to be with whomever you want for whatever reason you choose. But we have to stop lying to these children and confusing them. These youngsters seem to have more common sense, more logic, and more balls than some of you adults. And that is the reason that agendas continue to be pushed to them early on. It is an attempt to change or alter that natural ability that they have to understand what happens naturally in nature. They understand what is normal, what is logical, and what is out of normal or irregular. That's not racism, nor is it hate for a child to question what they see and conclude that it is impossible for two women or two men, whether they are in a relationship or not, to create a child. It means that this child understands that there must be a male and a female in order to procreate.
It was a movie with Buzz like
Toy Story?
Not that one, but
the new Buzz. The Lightyear. I think it's called Lightyear.
Yeah, Kiki Palmer's in that movie.
Okay.
She plays like the daughter. So we watching it, and the lady, which is Kiki's mama, they move on into the space years. They move down the line. They're like, man, she had a baby with a woman. Oh, my grandson in the middle of the movie, like, Papa Snoop, how she have a baby with a woman? She a woman. Oh, shit. I didn't come in for this shit. I just came to watch the goddamn movie. Hey, man, watch the movie. They just said she had a baby. They both women's. How did she have a baby? Shh. The movie ain't over with. So it's like, it fucked me. I'm scared to go to the movies now. Like, y'all throwing me in the middle of shit that I don't have an answer for.
No matter how you try to twist it, shape it, or construe it, the facts are just that. It's undeniable. It is literally impossible. And these children understand that. But today, some have made it their business to introduce propaganda that removes this natural process of thinking logically from our babies, from our children. Instead, they boldly have agenda-driven propaganda laced in these movies that are media that is meant for children or specifically for youth consumption. And why? It is an effort to discourage common sense assessments. And this is, in my opinion, what was really elevated and pushed overwhelmingly under Democratic-run administration. It is a detriment to our children because it confuses them. And some would even go so far as to say it attempts to groom or taint their ability to decipher what is natural, what is good versus what is abnormal, and blurs the line, in essence, creating muddling, making it perplex and complicated. As individuals to process boundaries, they are unable to process right from wrong sometimes when you introduce this confusion into their lives. I know it's an attempt to promote an ideology from someone, but often it can remove the moral boundaries, and it alleviates the ability for them to discern between what is considered ethical, honorable, or even principled. Now, what becomes the threshold after you've done that? Are we allowing those with a certain agenda to impose their thinking upon our children at an early age? That to put into them that anything goes with anyone or anything, a no boundary, no constraint society is also an uncivilized, disorderly, and evil, even an immoral one as well. In order to maintain a civility or any civility within a society, there has to be a threshold by which a society separate this wild animalistic behavior from the so-called civilized culture or an enlightened one. But somewhere along the way, society seems to have been allowed to deteriorate because some of those in power who have chosen alternative lifestyle wanted everybody else to also share that lifestyle with them. So they want to foster it upon others. And not only that, they want access to youth in particular because they want to almost groom them. And there are repercussions that follow upon individuals who resist this, who choose to disseminate from such an agenda. It quiets any voices that dare to question this agenda or dare to disagree with the effect of it on future beings in this society. And it also can increase the number of deviants, child predators, or sexual predators. And it seems to be overwhelmingly at one point represented in the society. So we have to stop lying to our children and confusing them about what is factual and actual. And this has been one of my biggest issues with Democrats running the nation. It seems they were just straight up confusing innocent children and imposing upon them, so much so that there are grown men and women that are afraid to speak the truth about what happens naturally and how nature works. But why? We understand why many people refuse to. Even in having this conversation and delivering this message, you could hear how Snoop himself, he hesitated. He wanted to be careful with his words because they are afraid of the repercussions that follow from those in power or in positions of authority over them, that they will take what they have gained away or what they have given them away. And it just simply should not be the case. We have to stop allowing these agendas to be pushed upon our youth that we know are not actual, nor are they factual. This is how you continue to create confused children who engage in what some may consider immoral, questionable, and even devious behavior. There must be a standard by which a society lives or operates. And pretending that anything goes creates the type of society that makes it difficult. In many cases, it's already true, but it makes it almost difficult to even trust other adults with your children. You would like to think that when you drop your child off at school or at an institution or childcare, that this agency has their best interest in mind, that your child is left in good hands. But we can't really say that. We just can't. When you send them out to be educated, that you want to feel as if you can trust that this established institution, perhaps a daycare or school, that they have their best interest in mind and they are not attempting to groom them in any way. But this isn't always the case. Often they're being taught the opposite of what is natural, what is nature, what is ethical, decent, or principled. No parents want them under the care of a questionable individual. And if you know this from the start, certainly you're not going to leave your children there. So to have a public school system that teaches this without your knowledge is problematic. We can't teach our children that or have them in a mindset that says anything goes with anyone or anything. That makes their lives in danger. Because when you say anyone or anything, that includes them, that includes children. This is why we have to guard our offsprings mentally and physically as much as possible, and not lie or confuse them about what is and isn't actual or factual and what happens in nature. Many parents don't want seeds of confusion or propaganda implanted in the minds of their children that alters what is reality. You don't want them wondering what is inappropriate and what's not appropriate, what's inappropriate and what's appropriate. You want them to understand the difference between what is acceptable and what is not, what is good, what is bad. There has to be a distinction, and they have to have the ability to think and decipher logically. Now, Snoop Dogg has presented so much more than he could have, or shall I say, should have been counseled about long time ago. But this subject certainly is not one of those things. The child was correct and very intelligent to speak the truth upon what they were witnessing. He could have simply told him it was propaganda, and perhaps taken it as a teachable moment for him to take that time and teach it to the child, which obviously already knows. But this is why I make the choice to watch all movies, even if they're labeled child friendly, before it's presented to our children, because we understand that there is an agenda. Again, why would you include that in a kids movie? I would call it expert propaganda. That's what you call planting a seed, pushing an agenda. And they knew who the demographic was, so this was not something that was unintended or something that just happened by the way. This is something that was done purposely. And just as it is done, we have to be determined to call it out when we see it, counter it, and speak up about it. Now, I would like to know what you think about this discussion. I want you to feel free to comment and share with me your thoughts on this topic. If you have not already, be sure to subscribe, like, or share, and join me next time for another discussion with Dena. Ta-ta!
This concludes your daily discussions with Dena. Join us Monday through Friday at 12:30 p.m. Like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment.